The world thought it knew every facet of Michael Jackson's story, an eternal icon whose every dance move, every lyric, every breath was dissected under the media's relentless glare, yet a profound secret lay buried in the cold, cryptic lines of his medical records, unnoticed until an unyielding AI, with its emotionless precision, sifted through mountains of data, numbers, charts, and fleeting doctor's notes to unveil a truth so staggering it left scientists frozen in awe. No longer just whispers or tabloid rumors. This was a chilling narrative woven from heartbeats, oxygen levels, and subtle anomalies that screamed a story of fragility the world had ignored. What AI uncovered wasn't just shocking. It rewrote the medical narrative, exposing a pattern of instability, dangerous dips in vital signs, and a fatal moment that transformed sterile data into a gut-wrenching cry for help. This isn't just a tale of the past. It's a stark warning for the future, a reminder of how often we miss the silent pleas hidden in plain sight within a patient's records. Before diving into this earth-shattering revelation, hit that like button and subscribe, because what you're about to hear will forever change how you view Michael Jackson and the power of data. The King of Pop was a global phenomenon, his stage presence an electric force that captivated millions. But behind the sequin jackets and moonlit performances was a man, human and frail, whose medical records held a truth no one bothered to decode until AI stepped in. Those pages, filled with clinical jargon and overlooked numbers, were a map to a tragedy, and when AI pieced them together, the scientific community was left speechless, grappling with a bitter irony. The world worshipped Michael's larger-than-life persona, but missed the mortal struggling in hospital rooms, his vulnerabilities drowned out by fame's deafening roar. It all began with an AI tool, a cutting-edge system built to parse medical records with natural language processing, designed to lighten doctors' loads by spotting patterns in endless files. But when it was fed Michael's records, it didn't just assist, it unraveled a mystery. Fragmented notes, erratic vitals, and scattered test results that human eyes had skimmed over became a vivid mosaic in the AI's unblinking gaze. It didn't speculate or sensationalize. It simply connected dots, millions of data points compared against vast medical databases, revealing a haunting rhythm of anomalies that had been there all along. Scientists stood stunned as the AI flagged recurring irregularities, a somber melody hidden in plain sight, like a song no one had heard until the machine turned up the volume. One researcher, staring at the screen, reportedly gasped, "It's like the data was screaming, and we were deaf to it." Another fell silent. The numbers no longer just stats, but the voice of a man long gone. A voice that carried regret and what-ifs that hit like a punch. Michael wasn't just a superstar. He was a black artist who clawed his way to the top in a world that scrutinized his every move, from his skin to his soul, and his medical records bore the scars of that battle. Skin issues, sleep struggles, and a body pushed to its limits. AI didn't just analyze data. It uncovered a human story of solitude, a man caught between the spotlight's glare and private pain, and in doing so, it turned cold metrics into a tragedy that echoed far beyond medicine. Picture an emotionless AI built to crunch numbers, becoming the only one to hear the cries embedded in Michael's records, its lack of bias making its findings all the more devastating. It didn't embellish or ignore, it simply stated, "Here's the truth." And that truth was a mirror reflecting humanity's failure to listen. While the world obsessed over scandals and gossip, Michael's medical data, a lifeline, sat ignored, its whispers of distress drowned out by fame's noise. Only when AI intervened did those whispers become a roar, leaving scientists not just shocked but heartbroken, realizing a life might have been saved if anyone had paused to truly see the data. This isn't just about tech. It's about the human cost of overlooking what matters most, a lesson that Michael, who sang of not being alone, was heard too late by a machine that finally gave voice to his silent struggles. The AI's deepest dive revealed a chilling pattern. Small, seemingly insignificant notes about oxygen levels, breathing irregularities, and sleepless nights that doctors had jotted down and forgotten. But AI didn't forget. It connected these fragments into a terrifying symphony, a story of a severe sleep disorder and dangerous oxygen fluctuations that had been screaming for attention. No guesswork, no rumors, just raw data, clear as day, showing Michael's body fighting a losing battle night after night. The AI's charts painted a grim picture. Oxygen levels dipping and spiking, a body on the brink, and repeated mentions of needs assistance to sleep that no one fully grasped. Scientists stared at the screen, the blue and red lines of vitals weaving a tale of fragility, and one whispered, "This isn't just data, it's a cry we missed." The room fell silent, not just from the text's precision, but from the realization that these signs, so obvious in hindsight, had been buried in paperwork. Michael, who could command stadiums with a single note, was losing a private war with sleep, his body's silent alarms ignored until AI amplified them. The data showed a man whose respiratory system was a ticking time bomb, made worse by sedatives that, while standard for others, were a gamble for him. The tragedy wasn't just the disorder, but the failure to connect the dots that AI laid bare with merciless clarity, forcing scientists to confront a truth they couldn't unsee. Beyond the sleep disorder, AI uncovered an even darker layer. Michael's body was uniquely sensitive, turning routine medications into lethal threats. Logs of drugs like lorazepam and propofol showed up repeatedly, but what seemed standard on paper was anything but for him. His vitals, oxygen, heart rate, recovery, reacted wildly, amplified by dehydration and skin damage at injection sites, creating a deadly spiral. AI didn't flinch. It cross-referenced his data with millions of others, revealing a pattern where safe doses became dangerous in his fragile system. One doctor, staring at the charts, exclaimed, "This wasn't just a dose. It was a disaster waiting to happen." The room grew heavy with sorrow, not because Michael took too much, but because his body was a wild card no one accounted for, a truth hidden in plain sight until AI exposed it. His skin, scarred from repeated infusions, absorbed drugs unevenly, turning every dose into a high-stakes gamble, and no one had asked the right questions until a machine did. The climax came when AI reconstructed that final night, piecing together oxygen drops, heart rate spikes, and a propofol dose that wasn't excessive but catastrophic for a body already teetering. The data showed hours of instability, a latent oxygen crisis, and a lack of close monitoring, all colliding in a single, red-marked minute on the AI's graph, a moment where everything fell apart. Scientists gasped at the screen, the lines of data weaving a chaotic symphony that ended in silence. One whispered, "This wasn't just a drug, it was a perfect storm." The tragedy wasn't one mistake, but a cascade, a fragile body, a standard dose, and no one watching closely enough. If just one factor had been caught, Michael might have survived, but together, they were unstoppable. The AI's cold precision turned numbers into a wound, a truth so raw it left even seasoned doctors reeling, their silence a mix of awe and guilt. In the aftermath, the room was still, not with the usual post-meeting quiet, but a heavy, haunting pause, as if the data itself was mourning. A sleep disorder specialist murmured, "It's like his body was singing a song we didn't hear." The AI had turned sterile metrics into a tragic melody, heartbeats like drums, oxygen levels like wavering notes, and sedatives like a fatal chord. Michael, whose life was music, had his final days written in data that echoed like an unfinished song, a truth so human it shook even those used to clinical detachment. The real tragedy wasn't just the medical oversight, but the broader failure to listen to data, to a man who was more than his fame. As a black artist, Michael faced relentless scrutiny, his health a footnote to his public persona, and his records, filled with signs of struggle, were ignored until AI gave them a voice. The findings sparked a reckoning. Could AI-driven monitoring save others from similar fates? Could it catch the subtle cries in patients' data before it's too late? These questions rippled through medical circles, turning Michael's story into a call to action, a plea to never let another life slip through the cracks. Yet, the sorrow lingered. One doctor wrote in his journal, "This chart haunts me. The rise, the fall, the silence." Michael's data became his final song, a whisper heard too late, a reminder that behind every number is a human, and sometimes it takes a machine to remind us to listen. The story doesn't end with Michael. It's a wake-up call, a challenge to hear the silent melodies in every patient's data, to ensure no one else's cries go unanswered, and to let technology amplify the humanity we too often overlook.